Welcome to your Barbados Today evening news update for Friday, January 25th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has refuted claims that government has not formulated any plans to grow the country's economy, hitting back at suggestions by critics that the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program was not a sure fix for the economy as it did not stimulate growth. Mottley contended that government's first order of business has been to stabilize the economy. She said now that has been accomplished, government had already begun to implement initiatives aimed at growing the economy, such as the relocation of Ross University School of Medicine and the current cricket series between West Indies and England.
We always understood that once you stabilize the bleeding, you needed a parallel path to trigger growth. And that parallel path to trigger growth will come from a combination of policy intervention and legislative intervention, which are non-fiscal. It will come from fiscal measures, such as the capital works that we choose to do as a government. It will come from decisions, as we have done, to establish Barbados as a medical and educational hub. And if anyone does not believe that the inclusion of Ross University with 1,500 students and 100 and something faculty will not bring growth to this country, then I don't know where they are living. Growth is also triggered by fiscal measures, by determination of how we spend our money, by ensuring that it is not spent in corrupt practices but spent for good measure. One of the first decisions this government made, unlike the last government, was to support the West Indies England tour in Barbados, being able to bring over 6,500 tourists here this week.
The Prime Minister made the comments as she opened the debate in Parliament this morning on the Planning and Development Bill 2019, which she said would transform the way business is being done in the country.
This bill is just but one of those initiatives that is intended to streamline how our economy and our society functions, to be able to allow for a greater level of inclusiveness in our society, so that we get the kind of society in which every Barbadian feels that they have a chance to be able to plan out their lives and plan out their investments without having to be in a position where they know somebody or can call a favor or pay for a favor. This is about giving people a chance to be able to go through the processes fairly and squarely and transparently.
The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. and the Barbados Tourism Product Authority will be one organization come February 4. The pending merger follows an announcement by Prime Minister Mia Mottley back in June during the mini-budget, which has since seen Cabinet making the decision to transfer the functions of the BTPA to the BTMI. In a release issued, it was revealed that Chairman of the Board of Directors, Sunil Chaturani, met with staff of both organizations today to outline the process for executing Cabinet's decision. He said the changes will come by way of redundancies, reorganization, and the transfer of the functions of the BTPA to the B. Government has designated February 2nd and 3rd a weekend of prayer. During that time, Minister of Ecclesiastical Affairs, Cynthia Ford, also wants all faith-based leaders to lead the nation back to the basic principles of love and mutual respect. The call comes amid a spate of crime and gun-related activities that saw the country recording 8 homicides so far this year. Ford, who is also Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, in a release today expressed concern over the heightened criminal activity, which she said has reached record levels and intimidates even the strongest among us. 2 garbage trucks that arrived in the country earlier this month will be deployed to a few trouble areas in the city. Minister of the Environment and National Beautification, Trevor Prescott, made the disclosure this morning after representatives of the truck's agents, Simpson Motors, handed over the keys to the Sanitation Services Authority.
We are conscious of the general demographics of Barbados. We are also conscious of the entire infrastructure, and the department has to take that into consideration. But I believe that where you're hearing the emphasis placed on areas like the city of Bridgetown, from your observation, you will see that the houses are extremely close. You will see that the passage which the truck has to go through is extremely narrow, and therefore the larger trucks cannot go down through those areas. And on many occasions you have to stay at the upper end of that area in order to, where all the garbage is accumulated, in order to load the trucks, and so especially when they're big. These would be able to maneuver into those small, what we normally describe as alleys in the city of Bridgetown.
In sports, West Indies captain Jason Holder heaped more pain on the English team with an unbeaten 202 on day 3 of the first test at Kensington Oval today. Holder's innings came off 229 balls and included 23 fours and 8 sixes. He shared an unbroken 295-run partnership with wicket-keeper batsman Shane Darwich, who finished not out on 116. Darwich's innings came off 224 balls and he struck 11 fours and 1 6. West Indies have given England a huge target of 628 runs to win the game over the next 2 days.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In news from our regional neighbors, we go to the Bahamas, where the Prime Minister has made it clear that his government will remain relentless in the fight against crime. More in this report from Fern Carey of ZNS News.
The Most Honorable Hubert Minnis says the government is adopting a more comprehensive approach to stamping out crime and the fear of crime across the country. His comments came during the signing of a 3-year, $1.9 million contract Wednesday for the introduction of gunfire detection technology that is expected to curb gun violence in the country.
We must do everything we can to protect Bahamians, residents and visitors alike. And we will be relentless in our efforts. As part of our crime fighting strategy, we will use other cutting-edge and effective technological and scientific advances to make our people and our country safer and more secure. We must continue to work aggressively to reduce other crimes on people and property. We can never, ever rest on our laurels in fighting crime and protecting our Bahamas.
Last year, body cam technology was introduced on the police force and is being tested in the field. It is expected to improve accountability and transparency between the police and members of the public while reducing complaints against the police.
And finally, President Donald Trump has yielded to political pressure to end the longest U.S. government shutdown in history. After 35 days, he backed a deal to fund federal agencies for 3 weeks, but it does not include any money he has demanded for a U.S.-Mexico border wall.
I am very proud to announce today that we have reached a deal to end the shutdown and reopen the federal government.
President Donald Trump on Friday agreed to a short-term bill to end the partial government shutdown, backing down for now in a bitter standoff with Democrats over his demand for a border wall with Mexico.
In a short while, I will sign a bill to open our government for 3 weeks until February 15th.
The move cleared the way for Congress to restore funding to agencies that had been shuttered for 5 weeks in the longest shutdown in the nation's history. The shutdown disrupted life for some 800,000 workers who had missed their second paycheck on Friday. The 3-week funding bill will not include Trump's request for $5.7 billion in funding for the wall, which Democrats had rejected. Instead, Trump said a bipartisan group of lawmakers would meet to discuss the nation's border security needs in the coming weeks.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.